A star goes down, and so do the good vibes at the Star. Did Brian Daboll hit the bullseye in New York and 2-0 for real or fugazi? All that and more on the Week 3 recap, Week 4 preview of Martin and Monaco. Let's go. So, Alex, I went to Cosm in Los Angeles. Have you heard of Cosm before? You seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've never been. Seen it. Looks like a vibe.
Yeah, it's like IMAX if IMAX was 3 times as big and on steroids. So I'm at Cosm Sunday night watching Giants and Chiefs, and I'm sitting next to a Giants fan who I don't know. The Giants march into the red zone. Jaxson Dart comes out on first down. This guy grabs his head. Oh, no, not Jaxson Dart. With such energy that I turn to him and I say, you don't want to see Jaxson Dart playing? Right? And he goes, not like this. If he plays, I want him to start. I said, okay, fair enough. And then by third down, Russ comes back in the game, and the fan turns to his buddy as Russ is tackled on a read option at 36 years old. The fan turns to his buddy and says, Jaxson Dart would have made it. 3 plays in, complete change in mentality, complete change in structure, and I imagine that's exactly what happened with Brian Daboll. As he said on Sunday night after that game, we're evaluating all of our options. It's Tuesday. All the options seem to be evaluated. Jaxson Dart, welcome to the stage.
Listen, man, you echoed that, and it's funny because I'm in the New York area. I was out watching the game Sunday night. Any national game in New York, I got to go put myself in the atmosphere if I'm not going to MetLife itself. And New York fans will always tell you, Martin, what they feel, but the emotions in this game, and again, Daboll bringing a dude in, bringing a dude out, Russ looking like he needs LASIK inside the 5 out of nowhere. Incomprehensible noises. It takes me back to when Eli said he'd rather play on the road because it's so ruckus to play at MetLife when the Giants are going the wrong way. But it just was so evident that the crowd was over it. And you start out 0-3, a game they should have won last week, and we go on and on and on. It seemed like the move to the bullpen, which we talked about on the Martin and Monaco show, Ian as well. Can they rock with even a bullpen style? Well, now they're doing it, and they're going to the kid out of the bullpen just in time for October baseball. I don't think they had a choice, man. I think this was the right move, and I guess throwing it to you, is this it for Russ? I mean, does he go down the depth chart, shoots and ladders with it, or is he sandwiched between Jackson and Jameis?
I think right now, what makes logical sense is Russ is QB2. I also wonder, no. There's no way anybody would want to trade for Russell Wilson. Is there?
What was it, 5 quarterbacks getting backup starts this weekend? I mean, a backup quarterback is invaluable in this league. What would that team have done in San Francisco if at least Mac Jones was incompetent? Carson Wentz comes in, decent plug and play. I mean, not that far-fetched, my man. Not that far-fetched.
Yeah, just running, because I was about to say, I think he's absolutely done, deep fried. It's over. It's time to go be a family man. But then I thought about it. Kirk Cousins is cashing checks right now for the Atlanta Falcons. It's like Kirk Cousins. Now, I think Russ is done as a starter. I think Russ is done as a viable player. Like, if Russ is your question, if Russ is your answer, you need to be asking different questions, okay? Because that's the end of the road. Russell Wilson is done. And I think Brian Daboll is about this close to done, and that's why he made this move with Jaxson Dart. Because now, I mean, he was really getting a pass in terms of being really a coach with one of the hotter seats. They haven't won much of anything except for that one playoff game with Daniel Jones, who's now been on 2 separate teams. Right? So, like, they haven't won much of anything. The roster looks bad. And then also some of that play calling, like, I get it. You're going to move your quarterback around, but Russell Wilson read options in 2025 is disastrous. So I think this is more of a I'm trying to protect my desk move by Brian Daboll than anything. And I think the number one reason why you can see that is because by my dollar, the best defense in football is walking in the door next week.
Hey, don't give too much credit to my Chargers. They still got that line, Chargers are going to Charger. No, it's an interesting thought just because Dable looks like he's cooked anyways, so let me just throw a Hail Mary. But, that moment where they're down 10, they're at midfield, they need 4 yards, the game's not over, they're over, and they punt the ball in the most opposite Dan Campbell scared not to win moment I've ever seen, and the crowd just goes ballistic. And if you're going to play this patty cake game with nice vibes Russell Wilson when it's going to get dark and cold here in a matter of weeks, that ain't going to work in New York. Maybe in Denver, maybe in the nice Pacific Northwest. Sorry, this town hasn't had winning football in years plural. You have to go to the kid. If anything, Martin, it gives them just new energy, which is so lethargic at MetLife. Pick a locker room because it's plural over there.
Well, they'll get the new energy with Jaxson Dart. And you mentioned Dan Campbell and his propensity to go for it on fourth down. He talked about that yesterday after a game in Monday Night Football, which was a 38-30 mollywhopping. A 38-30 B2A experience. The Ravens have serious issues, in my opinion, but I'm going to start on the winning side of things, like you just talked about with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions.
Talk to me.
I said going into this offseason, what type of head coach are you? Are you a Nick Sirianni head coach, or are you a Kyle Shanahan head coach? Nick Sirianni hired new coordinators. They went to the Super Bowl, went off a cliff, lost in the wild card to Tampa Bay, hired new coordinators again, went back to the Super Bowl, and quietly as kept, I think a lot of the issues that you've seen in Philadelphia through the first 3 games have a lot to do with one man named Kevin Patullo, and Jalen Hurts almost said as much to Pam Oliver post-game in Los Angeles after that game. It was one of the more demonstrative you've ever seen the guy talk. However, what Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions did, week 1, I'm giving you grace. Micah Parsons is a top 5 player on the defensive side of the ball in the NFL, and you had no idea you were going to be planning for him. You had no idea you were going to be game planning for him. They have gotten their legs under them in a major way. And I'm telling you right now, that team last year saved literally 15 defensive starters getting hurt when you only start 11 at a time. That team was the best team in the NFC last year, and if they keep on this track, they're the best team in the NFC this year.
Martin, it's a week-to-week league. We know this. On that thought, week 1, of course, a little bit of grace. They go back to their bread and butter, which is running to pass the ball. And Jared Goff, again, you have to call a game plan around a guy who's athletically limited at this particular time in the NFL. But my goodness, what a just quintessential Lions game plan. I mean, Montgomery, again, couple of breakout runs. He goes for over 150. Gibbs was a hard-earned 22 on 67. 4 touchdowns between the two of them. And then all of a sudden, what does running the ball successfully with a PFF top 5 offensive line or top 10 do? It opens up the passing game, the play-action game. It's exactly what that 4th and 2 was to seal it. My thing with the Ravens now, though, are the Lions that dominant, Martin, where they're going to throw you off their game? I think Dan Campbell moves to 11-2 in primetime slots now, straight up. But are they just going to also play that boxing psychology game with you? Because I have not seen John Harbaugh that outcoached, that underprepared, and that flat of a Ravens team across the board, at least on Natty TV, I want to say years plural. I mean, it was so much more than untimely turnovers and not moving the chains. It looked like a beatdown mentally, physically, and now we're sitting here on Monday morning quarterback talking about the Lions being the cream of the crop again in the NFC and maybe the NFL.
I'm not ready to close the book on the Ravens, but I said this before the season started. Ian as my witness, producer who's on this call. One of the 3 of Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City, history shows one of those 3 should fall off a cliff, right? Now, you got MVP level type quarterbacks at all those spots, and that's what keeps things going. I think that Baltimore right now is really, truly feeling the weight of expectation and feeling the weight of pressure. Derrick Henry came here to be the closer, the trade deadline arm that a baseball team picks up when they're making a pennant run, right? That's what Derrick Henry came to be, and he's now fumbled 3 times in 3 games. I wonder if he's feeling his football mortality. And another thing, Lamar Jackson taking 7 sacks yesterday. You got to throw the ball away. You got to throw the ball away and just live to play another down because it killed drives.
To put a button on it, the worst defense statistically through 3 weeks is the Miami Dolphins. The second worst is the Baltimore Ravens. We got a big issue over there in Baltimore, a lot more than just one phase of the game.
So Jerry Jones said he thinks the Cowboys are still a playoff team, right? After
and I'm 6'3" with the hair.
Here's the thing. I didn't hate. Look, I thought the Cowboys were getting a lot of bad press and a lot of unfair opinions over the summer, right? As the debate was, should they pay Micah? Should they trade Micah? The number one thing I am seeing right now is the reason why they should have traded him. If you look at Russell Wilson was so bad against the Giants in week 3, he lost his job and will never be a starting quarterback again in the NFL. It was that bad. The week before, he threw for 450 yards and it was top 3 games in his career. There is not one singular defender that would have changed that. There is not one singular player that would have made that difference. People have been ascribing like a quarterback level of influence to Micah Parsons. Now, the Cowboys' chances of winning significant games went away with CeeDee Lamb's ankle, right? Because they had to outscore everybody. And you see they have a lack of a – Pickens is not the guy to get open like that. CeeDee is the engine that drives that car behind Dak. But defensively, Micah Parsons or not, this defense was going to be terrible regardless, and you need to build it back up. Now, you could have a $47 million pass rusher on this terrible defense, or you could have 2 potential first-round picks. I think Jerry made the right decision this summer, and it has been proven out in these 3 games.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's the Cowboys are a team that I feel they listen to what goes on outside because they're like the Lakers. They're someone that everyone talks about, Natty TV, etc. Now, can we get behind the fact that maybe Javonte and Miles Sanders are a little bit better than maybe we thought advertised? They still have a serviceable offensive line, and they could find a way to go 9-8 this year. Probably is their ceiling with going that kind of week 2 style like the Giants? Or do you feel like the morale is so low on the almost Giants-esque because of the Micah aftermath that we'll learn a lot about him at Jerry's World, getting 6.5 at home against the Packers off an all-time Scotty Van Bad beat loss? I mean, I think this is a gut check. Overall, where's the chemistry in the room? Game, Martin, because if they don't show up and they lie over for a team that got better while they got worse in an exact trade, it could be curtains, man. And then Schottenheimer's just a seat filler, which I hate to see.
The thing is, though, when you pay attention to the media coming out of Dallas, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like they love Brian Schottenheimer, and they talk about him glowingly. It seems as if they may not have loved Michael Parsons as much. And I'm not even talking about Jerry. More just like the actual locker room. I wonder how Dallas actually feels about it. Do you know what I'm saying? How Dallas actually –
right.
Because you know what? Because you know what happened? The Green Bay Packers lost that game to the Browns, and Micah Parsons was the one that says, listen, you can't win the Super Bowl today. And what's one thing that we always blame the Cowboys for? Looking ahead, talking Super Bowl, so on and so forth. Micah said that in Green Bay. Green Bay, LaFleur is the one answering questions about going undefeated and winning 1-0 and all of this and that. Interesting.
Now, I got one thing for you I want to throw your way. Week 3 assessment for a team that's going across the pond this week. I need to get a Pittsburgh Steelers, at least pit stop take, because Martin, Aaron Rodgers has done a lot more than I think advertised through 3 weeks that most intended off of the year he had in New York. They're top 3 in turnover differential now off the 5 turnover fleecing against Mayday and the boys. A great game finally from a defensive perspective. So now if you have a little connective tissue between a week 1 win and a week 3 win, the Pittsburgh Steelers in a division that some would have called maybe one of the best divisions in football, at least top 2 when it comes to quarterback play. You got a bottom 2 Ravens defense, gave up 7 sacks on national television. Burrow's dealing with what you think the most ridiculous titled injury of all time. He's out for months. And Joe Flacco and these guys look like the second most reliable team in the division right now with an unbelievable defense and front 5 as far as offensive line. But in all seriousness, are you starting to maybe get behind some optimism with how the Pittsburgh Steelers have just won games? Because they haven't played a great, complete game yet, but good teams find a way to win, so do good coaches, and this is kind of what I said preseason. Top 10 company culture, top 10 coach, top 10 quarterback talent. They put it all together, they could be something. Where are you after 3 weeks of 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers football?
Exactly where I was before 3 weeks of 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers football. I think that this team is just exceedingly average, like aggressively average. I cannot express just how C+ this team is to me. Like, that's just how I feel about them. And I do agree with you. I think the line this week is a little funny. I like them this week, especially going overseas, playing against a Carson Wentz. That feels like it should work. But hearing Vrabel talk in the week leading up, they line up like, I'll put it like this. You know what made me feel better about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
What?
If TJ Watt started making plays. Where's TJ Watt?
I'll take that.
I know where he's at. Lined up on the left side. I watch Myles Garrett. Every week, Myles Garrett has a highlight where somebody's like, oh, my God, did you see what Myles Garrett did? Look at the all-22 of this. Where's my TJ Watt highlight?
Give him some time, baby.
TJ Watt's salary gets paid every game. Where's his highlight? That's all I'm curious.
To me, it is a almost topsy-turvy AFC to start the season. The Chargers are not chargering. The Chiefs and the Ravens are battling for who's going to be 1-3. We got playoff teams on the outside looking in. To me, this is a lot more wide open of an AFC. I grew up in San Diego. You know this, man. You cannot trust the Chargers until proven otherwise. And Buffalo, if there's a closest team to that kind of dumb luck, just watch the doc with Jerry and the Gambler and his Cowboys. They can't get out of their own way. I mean, do you believe in the cream of the crop right now in the AFC that it's going to stay like this? Because I think it is a completely different theme through the first 3 weeks, at least on that side of the conference, versus what we saw last year, which was not nearly as much parity.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. We'll move into the next one. We have the Buccaneers, the Colts, the Eagles, the Bills, and the Chargers, 49ers. Are the 6 undefeated teams left. Out of those teams, if I am just judging off the 12 quarters of football I've seen of all of them, the team that is the most legit is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, my.
The team that is the most legit is the Los Angeles Chargers. The Buccaneers have only won on last second Baker Mayfield doing incredible 4th and 10 types of things, right? Indianapolis, they got to win against, my dollar, the worst team in football in Miami. Denver does that stupid personal foul, hop over the center penalty, make a 60-yard field goal, a 45-yard field goal. Hey, it's the NFL, but still. I could poke a hole in that. The Eagles didn't throw the ball for the first 10 quarters of the season, so that's right there is an issue. And so that's right there is enough where I'm not going with it. So, boom, the Buffalo Bills Josh Allen had to put that Superman cape back on against this same Baltimore team that we are saying has issues, right? Because think about it, they gave up 220 yards on the ground. Josh Allen had to put up a Superman cape to come back in that game from that 16-point fourth quarter deficit. And the 49ers just lost Nick Bosa for the year and wondering when they're going to get the quarterback back. Tell me why Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and the Chargers are not the best team in the NFL right now.
Look, on paper, all they did was take care of 3 divisional opponents like they should have. But can we take a step back, say the Chiefs are the worst they've been under the Reid-Mahomes 1-2 punch in their entire tenure? The Raiders are a catastrophe, no thanks to Tom Brady. And the Broncos, if Bo Nix wants to be an entitled, my dad coached me, I'm going to talk to Peyton like he is my dad and disrespect him in front of everyone, make a terrible example when he's won 10 games in this league. I mean, this is what the Chargers are going to do. But I'm telling you right now, I've experienced 0 championships with this team, and I lost them up the Disneyland 5 freeway. This is what the Chargers always do. Now, Jim Harbaugh, your boy, that's the only caveat, because Brandon Staley's Justin Herbert club, pre-Madison Pier, is a whole nother dude. Harbaugh is a quarterback in his nature, so I get it. He's coaching them up. But, I mean, let's just call it what it is, baby. They got to go to New York. Then they got to play the Commanders. And then they got to go down to Ace Ventura land. And then they got to play the Colts and the Vikings. That's a 3-2 next month in 5 weeks. I'm sorry. But they just have gotten a lot of good fortune. And that's just not how it goes. Because, as I've always said, to put a button on it, you can't have the weather. You can't have the burritos. And you cannot have winning football. You got to pick 2 or 3.
Which team that's undefeated do you think is the most fraudulent?
Well, unfortunately, and it's not really fair because it's a hurt team, but you got to go Niners, right? I mean, they lose Bosa, Purdy. I mean, they're banged up. I mean, an incredible ability. Shout out your boy Eddie for kicking the game winner, but I have to go them. I guess second to that. I mean, how serious are the Colts, dude? Is this a real team?
Listen,
Martin?
Are the Colts a real team is yet to be seen. But I'm telling you this, we will be watching the Indianapolis Colts play playoff football this year as long as Daniel Jones stays healthy.
I think it's almost as shocking as the Houston Texans being 0-3. I was going to throw you that. Is that the biggest shock? Is that the biggest shock of the NFL?
You're right there with it. The AFC South is so bad. It's so bad across the board that Jacksonville has a winning record in division, and that team's head coach was yelling, throw it at their chest, Trevor. Hit him in the chest. The Colts are going to win the South by default. And I don't know if they'll have a shot to knock off one of the AFC real powers, but the Colts, real or not, they're going to be in the playoffs.
To put a button on it, I don't know if you got something for me to relay to New Yorkers, because the Giants are winless and the Colts are 3-0. It's like that Bizarro Jerry episode in Seinfeld where everything's the opposite. It doesn't even make sense.
I never played professional football, but everybody that I know that did play say halftime adjustments are overrated. And if that's true, I have no idea how to explain what happened between the Rams and the Eagles, because that was two very, very, very different halves of football. And it's just one of the things that about the Eagles really in the last 4 years has just been a mind-blowing situation. I do not feel like I understand this team in a great way. And I feel like it's because I have been not giving Nick Sirianni nearly enough credit for whatever it is that happens in Philly that is in the magic winning juice that they seem to drink way more often than not. So with that, let's play a game of Sirianni or.
All right, fellas, I've got a list of NFL head coaches here from across the league, and just going to ask you guys whether you prefer Nick Sirianni or that head coach. So let's start here with Andy Reid. Would you rather have Nick Sirianni or Andy Reid as your head coach, Mark?
That's a no-brainer. Give me Big Red.
Alex?
Oh, have to. Squad ride. No question.
All right, easy one there. How about Nick Sirianni or Sean McDermott of the Bills?
I'm going to go Nick Sirianni. In lieu of McDermott not knowing how many timeouts he had, in a game against the Rams last year, which cost him home field advantage, Sirianni.
I, too, have to go with Nick Sirianni. Sean McDermott's game management, that's one example. I'll give you the more famous one. 13 seconds. 13 seconds.
True. Next, Nick Sirianni or Matt LaFleur?
I'm going to go Sirianni. That is sick to say because LaFleur is an assassin in his own right and a great offensive play caller, but he's ringless.
I'm going with Sirianni because it's something that he said literally Monday. He talked about how Jalen Carter and Jalix Hunt and all these stars for them play special teams. The Eagles value special teams. The Packers continually do not. Sirianni's a CEO, head coach. LaFleur's an OC.
Well said.
All right, next up, Nick Sirianni or Kevin Stefanski of the Browns. What do you think, Martin?
You know, I think I'll go Kevin Stefanski. Because I think if you gave Kevin Stefanski a roster a tinge as good as the Eagles, he would just do crazy things with it. Think about what he's done with no roster.
I'm going to go with Sirianni, almost on your LaFleur thought. Stefanski, yes, he's won a Coach of the Year, but he also seems like the leader of men thing is in question, and that is almost the opposite with Sirianni, where he's so much of a wild card. He works for wild card players like a Jalen Carter, among others, in that locker room. I can't go Stefanski. I can't do it. He's starting Flacco, Martin. Makes me sick.
All right, next up, Nick Sirianni or Shane Steichen. Alex, what do you think?
Oh, man. I got to go Sirianni. Fascinating. They worked together once upon a time. But I got to go again with the dude one-up level. If we're going corporate America with it, I'm not going with the understudy. Can't do it. I live by Broadway. I'm going to see the star, which would be Sirianni in this case.
I'll go with Sirianni as well, in part because, if Sirianni could make Jalen Hurts work, could he have also made Anthony Richardson work? I'm curious. I don't know. We saw both of them work with Jalen Hurts. I'm curious. I'll go with Sirianni.
All right, next up, Nick Sirianni or Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings. What do you think, Martin?
I'll take KOC, but we are right now just strictly in the why, because I feel like it zone.
I'm going to go KOC with you, man. I can't go Sirianni over everybody. I think KOC is a special quarterback. Also, out of San Diego State, handpicked by Belichick. Who goes with a quarterback out of SDSU? Nobody. It's because he's a one of one up here in the noggin. I got to go KOC.
All right, next up, Nick Sirianni or Mike Tomlin. What do you think, Alex?
If it came to one speech, a Pacino Any Given Sunday speech, I would go with Tomlin. I have to go with Sirianni. This makes me sick. I love Tomlin. I'm all about the Steelers. I can't do it. He hasn't won a playoff game. I've aged half a New York decade over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tomlin only because I think if they both got fired tomorrow, Mike Tomlin would have a job faster.
I agree with that.
That's the only reason.
All right, next up.
There's nothing today. There's
All right,
nothing today that says that. Mike Tomlin's just I can't speak against the guy.
Next up, Nick Sirianni or Mike Vrabel of the Patriots.
I'll go with Sirianni, and I loved Vrabel as a Titan, but the Eagles had this decision, and they chose Nick Sirianni. They had the opportunity to hire Mike Vrabel, and it wasn't like it was a crazy rumor. I'll go with Nick Sirianni, and also, too, I think that we as bettors like Mike Vrabel a little bit more than probably fans of his actual team, because they were a covering machine down there in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's back to that Tomlin theory. It's he would probably get these boys ready to run through a wall a little more because he played at a high level and he's got Super Bowls plural. I can't fade Sirianni, man. And this might be the fit thing. We're almost getting, objects in mirror not as they appear with this, riding into Vegas. He's just the perfect complement to letting these Eagles soar.
All right, Alex, Nick Sirianni or John Harbaugh.
Thought you were giving me Jim. I'll make it easy. Both Harbaughs over Sirianni. Love how they build.
Both, so.
Yeah, I love how they build their infrastructure inside out, all business. Also, I am Italian, but I dress more like Harbaugh. Both of them. I'll go with John.
I did not think I would say this until you started this. I'm going to go with Nick Sirianni. I think Harbaugh's lost the rope a little bit. Like, the last 2 seasons don't seem like I think Baltimore is in trouble. And I don't mean like in trouble like missed the playoffs, but just like this is a Super Bowl team. And I think that they're starting to feel the cracks a little bit. And the Eagles have been a Super Bowl team for the last 3 years. And A.J. Brown's reading books on the sidelines. Jalen Carter's spitting on people. And it's like, you know what? 3-0. What can we do?
All right, how about Nick Sirianni or Dan Campbell, Martin?
Oh, give me Dan Campbell. Give me Dan Campbell 100%, because I think he was actually better at hiring I think that he built out his infrastructure knowing that he was going to miss Ben Johnson, knowing that he was going to be missing Aaron Glenn, and handpicked the successor in a way that Sirianni necessarily I don't think does or has, based off the way that how powerful Howie Roseman is.
Yeah, there's no Howie Roseman with a wand over there in Detroit like there is with Sirianni. I mean, it's a lot of just really getting out of the way of the talent that Howie orchestrated. Meanwhile, Campbell completely turned this culture around. They haven't won back-to-back divisions, gentlemen, since the 50s, dude. The 50s. It's got to be Danny Campbell.
All right, last one for you guys. Nick Sirianni or Kyle Shanahan?
I'll go Sirianni. Is Shanahan in those big spots? It's like asterisks, and that's plural, dude. That's losing a big game to Sirianni. Yes, they got banged up at quarterback, but let's not forget 28-3, man. Sirianni would never.
Shanahan. Sirianni's record may be better. Sirianni may be on a hotter streak. Sirianni may have him head-to-head. Kyle Shanahan's offense is copied by half the teams in the NFL because he came up with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, Kyle Shanahan has found ways to make all types of quarterbacks work. Whether or not you feel like he should have paid Brock Purdy or whether or not you feel like he should have let him walk and find another one. I personally felt that Kyle Shanahan should have made the great quarterback experiment, whereas, like, there's no literally, it's the system. We will draft a 5th rounder every year and have open QB competitions. I just thought that would have been fascinating. He didn't end up doing it, paid Brock Purdy. The team is old, the roster's old, but I just have to go with Kyle Shanahan's football brain over Nick Sirianni. Sirianni may be a better manager of men, but Shanahan on the X's and O's, I got to take him.
All right, gentlemen, let's close out the show with a little game of Who You Got. It's a staple from Martin and Monaco on Fox Sports Radio over the summers. Let's get right into it. I'm thinking of someone from the world of sports. It could be a player, a coach, a GM, whatever. It's someone having something to do with sports. So I'm going to give you guys some clues to try and help narrow down who this person is, and each clue should hopefully help make it easier. By the final clue, you guys should hopefully know who this person is. You guys ready?
Let's do it. Let's dance.
All right. First clue. He was a second-round draft pick coming out of college.
Jalen Hurts.
Nope. He's a 3-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler.
3-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, second-round draft pick.
3-time All-Pro. Okay.
Michael Crabtree was not 3 times All-Pro. Devontae Adams.
Nope. Not Devontae Adams. He's played 17 seasons in the NFL, and I won't tell you if he's still playing or not, but he played 17 seasons.
17 years.
Did Flacco go in the second round? Flacco?
Not Joe Flacco.
3-time All-Pro.
Not Joe Flacco.
Calais Campbell.
Oh, that's a great.
It's Calais Campbell.
Oh my God, this
what
guy
a snipe!
is.
My God,
dude, this guy is a freaking mad.
Wow,
this
after
guy's the
3
Charizard
clues.
of this game, dude. You're sick, Martin. You need to go on Sports Jeopardy, dude.
Man,
are you kidding me, dude?
Wow, that was a hell of a
Calais
snipe.
Campbell was All-Pro with the Dolphins and Ravens?
No, he was
Jags, right? Jags and
Jaguars
Cards.
Okay.
and the Ravens.
He played for
Jaguars 2 times. No, he was just a All-Pro with the Jaguars.
All right. He's played for the Ravens, the Jaguars, Dolphins, Cardinals.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Cardinals, and he played there for the first 10 years of his career, and then he ended up going to Jacksonville, and that's where he became All-Pro Defensive Player of the Year candidate, which that was another one of the clues. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 2017. He's played for 5 different NFL teams. He's in the top 30 all-time for career sacks, but he's only had double-digit sacks in a season twice. So that gives you, consistent production.
I came into this game real quick with the Marlboro Man being Darnold's grandpa, and I thought that was as high as you could go, and then Martin just upped the bar, man.
He played for the Jaguars when he was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. That would have helped as well. And then the last clue is he's still playing now for the Cardinals, which was the team that drafted him.
Also,
and he's having a good
Man
year.
of the year.
That's right.
Walter Payton Man of the Year. That's I didn't have that one down there, but that is good.
There you go.
All right.
Calais
Well,
Campbell. Also, one of the tallest defensive linemen in NFL history.
All right, gentlemen, to close out the show, let's start a new tradition here that we'll be doing every week here on Martin and Monaco. Just want each of you guys to give me one thing that nobody else thinks is going to happen this week. You do, and then we'll say goodbye and we'll get out of here. So, Alex, we'll start with you. What do you think is going to happen this week that no one else does?
Jaxson Dart and the New York Football Giants are going to watch my Chargers travel 3,000 miles to their place and catch an L. I got the New York Giants outright, Martin, on the Chargers. Knock them down the power rankings. Bullseye.
I got one too. I'll stick with quarterbacks, and I'll stick with rookie quarterbacks.
Talk to me.
Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans get their first win this weekend. C.J. Stroud sacked 4 times against that Tennessee defensive line, and all of a sudden the conversation starts. Is the former Ohio State quarterback really the worst in the AFC South? Next week, we'll see.
Wow. Put those in a parlay, and we're buying Marina Del Rey, Ian Roddy property right there, folks.